Hello, today I'm sharing with you my 60-day results using the Nira Home Pro Laser to see if I can get a reduction in fine lines and an increase in collagen, a little bit more firmness, a little bit more of a rejuvenated look. I also have tried the precision form of this laser. It's a smaller head. The Pro has a larger diameter, but they both deliver the same type of laser technology. The Pro is just supposed to be easier to use on larger facial areas. And you guys asked me to do a review of the Pro after I finished my review of the Precision. I used the Nira Precision laser on my crow's feet, and I did a review on that, and I'll link that up above. You can go check that out. Today we're focusing on the Pro, which is a larger diameter head using the exact same laser technology so that you can treat the face faster and easier than using just the Precision that's designed for the eye area. For those of you who are not familiar with the Nira Home lasers, especially the Nira Pro, I'm going to do a quick explanation and a demonstration on how they work. The original laser that Nira came out with was the Nira Precision. Then they came out with the Nira Pro, a much larger head to treat much larger facial surface areas. I did give this a quick try when it first arrived. However, the fan was broken, so it took me a while to get a replacement, and many of you asked me to do a review of the Nira Pro. The idea of a home laser is it's a targeted treatment. It gives the system a bit of a heat shock just below the threshold of pain. It's similar to an in-office laser, but much less intense. They are non-fractional lasers, which means they don't destroy the skin. They just work by heat shock, which means they heat up the dermis to stimulate collagen production and the wound healing response. So that's the theory about how they work. Now you might ask, what is the difference between a laser and an LED? An LED is a wider beam of light, whereas this laser is highly focused, more intense, and penetrates deeper than an LED red light therapy mask might, or a red light therapy panel might. So these are definitely more intense. They definitely feel warmer to the skin, and they have multiple intensities that you can adjust. For the Nira Pro, you just turn it on, you'll hear that initial beep, you apply it to the skin, it beeps, and at the second beep, a few seconds later, you remove it from the skin and it's administered that beam of laser to the skin. I move down the neck. Slightly overlapping. I also want to show you that you can adjust it to different intensities. That's the off button and the on button, and then you just tap it to adjust it to the intensity that you can tolerate. It should not result in any pain, so adjust it to the level where you do not feel pain. Now, I could only use this on level 4. I tried on 5, but that was just a little bit warm. My skin would get a little bit irritated. The other thing is you want to use this on clean skin, then treat the skin, then you want to hydrate the skin. The two products that I used for hydrating were the Medicate Peptide Serum and the Ordinary's Matrixyl Plus HA. It's very important when you're using a home laser because it administers heat to make sure you hydrate the skin really well after using. So that is a quick demonstration and explanation of how the Nira Pro works. I'm going to share with you my results. I'm going to show you some before and afters. I'd love for you to chime in the comments and share your opinion on my before and afters. I've taken black and whites, I've taken color photos, and I've done some different lighting. So you'll be able to see before and afters that are really true and really show you if there's a difference using these home lasers. Full disclosure, I also had some in-office treatments, especially focusing on my neck and décolleté over the last 18 months. I'm going to be doing a full video on my in-office treatments, but today's video is focused on how I'm maintaining my skin in between my in-office visits to see if I can keep the skin rejuvenated and youthful looking in between visits. I love a combination of at-home skincare devices and in-office treatments to get a really great rejuvenated look to my skin. I've done year-long trials of LED and microcurrent. If you're interested in those devices and seeing my results, I'll link those videos down below. If you have not watched my 7-year skincare rejuvenation video, I'll also link that. You'll probably really enjoy it if you're interested in in-office treatment. So let's jump into my experience with the Nira Pro over 60 days on my mature 58-year-old skin. This time I decided just to do a 60-day trial. If I saw no difference, then I decided, it wouldn't be worth continuing. I should see something in 60 days using it twice a day. So you can use the Pro up to twice a day. The areas that I treated were my nasolabial folds on either side and this little droopy skin down below to see if I could get any improvement and any tightening. And then, of course, my neck area to see if I could get rid of some of these fine lines along my neck area. I'm going to show you my before and after results. I took pictures in color and I took them in black and white, so it's a little bit easier for you to see and make a decision whether you see a difference. I'm going to give you my opinion, and at the end of the video, I'm going to share with you a few tips on what I think really works to help keep the crepey skin of the neck looking refreshed and rejuvenated. Now let's take a look at the pictures after the Nira Pro for 60 days, twice a day on the nasolabial folds and these little jowls that I have. In an effort to catch good before and after photos, we took photographs in both outdoor lighting, indoor bathroom lighting, and studio lighting. Each lighting type revealed very similar results. However, the studio lighting had the least amount of shadows and the most consistent lighting. What I've done is I've taken all the studio lighting photos, put them side by side, and removed the background so there's no distraction. We'll analyze each of the before and afters up close at the 4 angles that I took, and then we'll also look at them in black and white. I'm going to start with the photograph of my front-facing view, before and after. In the before picture, my necklace lines, as they call them, are fairly prominent, and you'll see in the after picture that they almost look a little bit worse. My opinion is these kind of lines are deeply entrenched and repeated again and again and again, and I'm not quite sure, because mine are fairly well set, that the Nira is strong enough to get rid of these deep, repeatedly entrenched lines that are created day after day after day. In this next set of before and afters, I'm still front-facing, but I've lifted my chin a little bit, and you can still see that my necklace lines are prominent both before and after, possibly just a little bit more prominent and deeper in the after photo. Now here's where things get really interesting. We're looking at a close-up of my right side, and honestly, I think the necklines are ever so slightly improved in the after photo, and I've been trying to figure out why this is the case. I'm wondering if the lines that we create on the sides of our neck are just less repetitive than the ones that we create when we move our head up and down. I'm on my phone a lot, I'm on my computer a lot, as we all are, repeatedly looking down and creating neck creases, as opposed to turning our necks and moving our necks side to side, which we probably do a lot less often. So I'm wondering if the Nira is possibly able to tackle very fine lines more so than the more deep entrenched lines and ones that we continue to create repeatedly. Here are the before and afters of the left side of my neck, and I'm finding the same thing. In the after picture, the lines look ever so slightly softer than in the before picture. Now let's take a look at the black and whites. With all the color removed, we should be able to see the lines clear, and I'm really curious to see if the black and white photos show the same results. The before and after of my front-facing view in the black and white photo is a little bit inconsistent to what I saw in the color photo. My necklines are still pretty prominent in the center, but a little less so on the after picture. In this photograph with my neck slightly raised, you can really clearly see that the necklines in the center are much worse on the after photo than on the before photo, leading me once again to conclude that the center lines are fairly entrenched lines, fairly deep, and that the Nira Pro really didn't do much to change those lines at all. Looking at the right side of my neck now, even in black and white, that surprising result still holds true. The before is much deeper and the after looks a lot lighter, so there might be something going on here.
And in the black and white, now looking at the left side of my neck, the lines on the side of my neck in the after photo definitely look a little smoother.
Now let's take a look at the results in the area of the nasolabial folds. Looking at these before and afters in color, I definitely see a slight improvement, especially at the top area of the nasolabial fold in the wrinkle depth. But I do have a bit of a theory because I didn't really notice this in the mirror. I think it's possibly a little bit less deep and a little bit less noticeable because I'm having 2 bouts a day of heat exposure. I'm wondering if it's just a bit of inflammation. That's just a theory. It could be that the laser is actually making a difference. It's just not that I'm seeing it on a day-to-day basis. I also noticed the same thing in the black and white photos. The upper nasolabial fold area definitely is looking a bit better. Now looking at the peripheral view or the side view on the loose skin around my jawline, I really don't see much of a difference, and I honestly didn't expect to see a difference. The black and white photos are pretty much showing the same thing. I also didn't see a lot of difference in the jowling or the loose skin in the lower face by the sides of my mouth. That's pretty much the same.
So what can we conclude from my 60-day trial, which admittedly is quite short? Possibly that the lines that aren't as deep might respond better to the Nira Pro. Another possibility is that I haven't considered a confounding factor. Perhaps I just need to use it for a longer period of time on the deeper lines to see results. Now to share with you a few tips on how you can keep your neck and décolleté over 50 looking rejuvenated. The first thing that I do is I use a chemical exfoliant in my evening routine once a week, at least on my neck and décolleté. My favorite is the Dermelect Sleep Serum. I will also make some recommendations down below on some less intense serums if you have kind of a sensitive neck and décolleté. The Dermelect serum has BHAs, AHAs, and L-ascorbic acid, vitamin C. So it's a pretty intense serum. You could try it as a wash-off formula where you put it on for a minute and then just wash it off as you acclimate to it. I've kind of built up a tolerance for my skin in that area, but at the very beginning when I started using chemical exfoliants for my neck and décolleté, it was a little bit sensitive. Dermelect also makes a specific neck firming cream designed for the sensitive area of the neck. The neck firming cream has actives, but it's also buffered by squalane and avocado oil. The actives in this formula are alpha hydroxy acid and beta hydroxy acid, but they're at a much lower percentage than the Dermelect Overnight Beauty Sleep Serum. I also bring my retinoid products, whether it's an over-the-counter product or a prescription product, all the way down to my neck and décolleté. Now, not everyone is going to be able to tolerate that. They can be pretty intense on the thinner skin of our neck. We have fewer sebaceous glands. The skin is very thin there. So you want to proceed with caution when you're using actives on your neck area. Always do a patch test and do what works for you. So that's what I do in my evening routine. I rotate through a chemical exfoliant and my retinoid products to keep the skin rejuvenated, healthy looking, and to build collagen and elastin so that I don't have such a crepey neck. Now, during the day in my morning routine, I use a dedicated neck cream. I love the Dermatology Advanced Neck Cream. Those of you who watch my channel, you're probably sick of me talking about it, but I love it. It just does something special to the neck area that other neck creams don't do. And I highly recommend, if you haven't tried it, to give it a try. The other thing is I use my other skincare devices, both microcurrent and LED, on the neck area, which really helps in between my in-office treatments to keep things looking refreshed. I'm going to do an entire dedicated video on my in-office neck and décolleté rejuvenation coming up soon. I have one more treatment coming up in the middle of May. Unfortunately, that got pushed back due to me constantly being sick this winter. So that video is running a little bit late, but if you're interested in in-office treatments for the neck and décolleté, stay tuned for my upcoming video. Thanks very much for watching and wishing you all a skintastic day.